In addition to the 4 instruments, which is the basic physics forceps, we've gone ahead and developed third molar instruments. The upper third molar instruments are predominantly used for third molars and sometimes second molars if you can't get to the second molar or you're having difficulty using the standard instrument. Also, the third molar lower instruments are for the same purpose. Many times the cheek, the tongue, the angle of the tooth prevent you from using the standard lower instrument, so we've developed third molar instruments to alleviate any problems you may have with them. I would first like to demonstrate the upper third molars. When I use an upper third molar, I like to have 3 different things in addition to the third molar instrument when I take a tooth out. When I take an upper second or third molar out, I'd like to have an elevator, which I'll explain, my flame-shaped diamond, my regular forceps, and a third molar forceps. For most third molars, the third molar instrument, because of the bumpers being so thin, is the reason we use it, but the operation and the placement is a little different. How many times have you doctors taken out a second or third molar, taken the tooth out, and the distal tuberosity comes with it? Well, what we've done is we reintroduced this instrument. This is an elevator. This has been around for about 200 years, and what this instrument does, it separates the bone from the distal of a second or third molar, so when you remove the tooth, the tuberosity or the bone doesn't come with it. Unfortunately, when you use this elevator, you have to use a lot of force. This elevator goes distal, and you really have to push down really hard into that bone to separate the bone from the tooth. So when I'm using this elevator on any second or third molar, if there isn't an adjacent tooth, if there's any tuberosity or bone distal to the tooth I'm taking out, I use this elevator, and all I do is push. You really have to push this. So the first thing I do is push my elevator down, which you will see in live videos. The second thing I do is I use my diamond. In other words, and rather having a purchase point here, if I push my diamond down about 2 or 3 millimeters, my purchase point is now down there. Many doctors also like to take an elevator and push the buccal gum away. I personally don't do that. When using the third molar upper versus the standard molar instrument, again, it's very important to understand the placement of the bumpers. In many instances, if not all instances, on a third molar, this bumper on a standard instrument is too thick. It will not go back there. If this was a standard extraction, the beak goes first, then the bumper. If it's a third molar or even a second molar, where you have trouble using the standard, you go to the third molar instrument. The bumper goes first, then the beak. So if this was a third molar, I would put the bumper first, then the beak. Again, on third molars, the bumper goes first, then the beak. Same wrist movement. The wrist movement never changes, but the placement of the instrument does. Bumper, beak, wrist movement. Taking out second and third lower molars can be very difficult with the standard instrument. Many times you can't get the instrument back there, the angles don't line up, the bone is in the way, and many times the lip and the cheek won't allow you to push this instrument all the way back in the second and the third molar areas. So what we've done is we've developed a second and third molar lower extraction physics forceps. Instead of using the instrument sideways, which the standard one does, this instrument is used like a cow horn. It goes in the mouth and it goes basically like a cow horn. It goes over the tooth instead of in front of the tooth. So what we would do on this particular tooth, if this was a second or third molar and I couldn't get back there with my standard one, the first thing I would do, which I always do, is use my diamond. And what my diamond does, it allows me to have my purchase point farther down the root. So instead of being here, I want to be down here. Instead of being here, I want to be down here. Again, you'll see live demonstrations of showing how to use this diamond. But more importantly, it's the placement of this instrument. This instrument is used very similar to the lower, but it goes in the mouth instead of in front of the tooth. So what we do is we put it in the mouth, and this one again, beak goes first, then bumper. The beak and then the bumper, and then again, you just wait. Wrist movement only. This was the third molar and I can get it in there, you just wait. Second molar, same principle. Beak, then bumper. Wrist movement only. This is a 20, 30, 40 second extraction. Let the energy build up and the tooth will move. Again, look at your x-ray. If those roots are curved and long and divergent, section the tooth. You'll see, again, live demonstration showing when and when you will not be able to do that, or should do that. This is the lower right, this one was the lower left. Again, beak, bumper, wait, beak, bumper, front delivery, not side delivery. Wrist movement only, wrist movement only. The wrist controls the instrument, not squeezing and not moving your hand. So if I was going to take this tooth out here, I would take my diamond, go down here, about 2 millimeters, takes about 2 to 3 seconds. Then I would take my beak, then my bumper. Many times I'll take my other hand and lock the beak on so I have better control of the instrument, and then I use my wrist movement only. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, the tooth will start rolling out. The instrument is designed to have it done so efficiently and easily. Thank you.